Hi there, this is Dr. John Whitcomb recording my News and Nutrition column on napping to lower your blood pressure. The reason I'm interested in blood pressure is last year there was a study in the Sprint Mind study showing that if you reduce somebody's blood pressure from 140 to 120 with medication, the risk of Alzheimer's drops by some 15%. And that was issued with much fanfare. And then when the study actually came out in January, unfortunately the news changed and the statistician said that the numbers weren't statistically significant enough, even though it was something on the order of 18 down to 12. But because there were relatively small numbers, the statistics didn't make it meaningful enough. Meantime, back to napping. So let's put that aside. It may have been a trend. It might actually come out to be true with a larger study. And it was a shame that study was terminated because they have to start all over again. But back to napping. Let's take a study from Greece, where they found that folks who took a nap had lower blood pressure. And in fact, the longer they napped, the better their blood pressure was lowered, up to 2 hours. In fact, it was roughly 5 millimeters over 2 millimeters of mercury, and that's as much as taking a pill. And see, for every 2 points of mercury, it's about a 5 to 10% reduction in stroke risk. So that's not an insignificant finding. So a nice afternoon nap is pretty good at lowering your blood pressure. Well, I'm really interested in that, partially because it's for issue of cognitive decline, but really the number 2 killer or number 1 killer, whichever comes first, is heart disease versus Alzheimer's. And heart disease is dramatically affected, vascular disease is dramatically affected by high blood pressure. So this is the disease du jour for all of us. And it's really a sign that your blood vessels are upset with your lifestyle. So over the next 10 weeks or so, I'm going to review all the methods I can find that you can successfully do to reduce your blood pressure by your own lifestyle. Napping is number 1. If you can take a nap, if you can take a 5-minute nap. Now, Winston Churchill used to take a full 2-hour nap every day. He took his clothes off and got between the sheets. And he had credited that for him allowing him to work 2 8-hour days every day of the world. Now, for a man who wrote some 65 books, including a couple to earned him a Nobel Prize in Literature, not to mention saving Britain and the Western Hemisphere from the tyranny of in World War II, he was quite a prodigious worker and quite an eccentric man. In our house, when we take a good nap in the afternoon, we call it taking a full Winston. And you know now what that means. It's getting a nap and lowering your blood pressure. You can do the same. We're going to go over others in the future. This is Dr. John Whitcomb with News and Nutrition.